Making money while you sleep sounds fantastic. And it is the epitome of passive income. You can't get more passive than earning money, generating revenue, the funds that you need to pay for rent, mortgage, school, that new vacation you want to take, while you're dreaming and snoring the night away. And yes, some of us snore. It's okay. It happens. It's human. The easiest method to do this, specifically, if you are a freelancer or an entrepreneur, more so a solopreneur, right? Entrepreneur that going at everything alone, you don't have a team behind you, is to create and sell digital products. Typically, the best way to do this would be from your website and or a marketplace that has traffic already built into it. See, the digital product, it's there. It's available 24/7, just like the online marketplace, just like your website as an online marketplace. And although this can be very lucrative, there are a lot of gurus and a lot of so-called experts out there that will have you believe it's pretty much easy. You can put it on autopilot and you can get this done in a few seconds, and then you're making $100,000 every day. Well, no, it is not that simple. There does take some work, especially on the front end, but it is possible. It is viable, and it is being done by hundreds of thousands of people around the world right now. The keys are, well, let's get into that. Let's get into the keys and the steps that it takes to build that digital product, make it available, promote it, sell it, get it out there, and most importantly, for the sales portion, making sure it's designed and built for the right people. That's what we're going to go to today in the Ambition Show. We're going to go over everything about digital products, get down to the truth, and of course, the good and the bad in today's episode. Let's get it. Okay, so let's get right into it and start making money, y'all. And see, that's how the feeling is when you watch some of these, videos where they say, oh my God, you can make $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 making digital products every week. And it's like, well, first off, major products, I don't care what brand it is, some of those aren't making hundreds or hundreds of thousands of dollars every week. We're talking about major corporations. We're talking about, even if you have a great portfolio, you may not be making hundreds of thousands of dollars from that portfolio in stocks, bonds, investments, stuff like that. So let's bring it back to reality for a second. The fact is, digital products, what they are, getting right into it. Digital products are just another form of developing something, whether it's a service, whether it's something something someone can download, or it's something that someone can go back and reference on multiple occasions because maybe they've either purchased it at your website or they purchased it from a marketplace and they were able to download it there or save it to their hard drive. It is just another product, just like anything else. So whether it's, a physical product or digital product, doesn't matter. It's going to take time to generate steady revenue from it. It's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be, okay, I created and they will purchase it. No, not build it and they will come. It's, I built it and they will buy it all the time. That's definitely not going to happen, right? What you have to do is you have to take time to develop of where to sell it, a real plan, where to sell it, who to sell it to, what to sell it for, because there have been great digital products, and some of them will go into some examples from creators where they literally were stagnant. Nothing was happening because they had the wrong pricing plan. That can hurt you. That could be the one that's like the nail in the coffin of the business. It's like you've done all this work, you're getting people to the website or you're getting people to the marketplace, and they just put the wrong pricing in place, and to where people don't want to purchase it, or the people that they targeted, the people that they got the traffic from, don't want to purchase it at that price. So there's a lot of pieces to it. So just making it and putting it on Etsy, making it and putting it, in a digital marketplace, doesn't necessarily mean that, hey, we're all going to buy it. It's always going to sell. It takes time. First thing we're going to go over is what are digital products, how to make them, because there's so many different ways to make them. We'll go over not necessarily the only way or even the best way for every situation. We'll go over the methods that are the most effective when it comes to saving your time, not spending a lot of money, And of course, something you can do on your own if you don't have a team, because a lot of times you're starting from a place of solopreneurship. Why are digital products important? That's the third thing we're going to go over. And it's very important to understand why they're important, because it's saving a lot of people time when they are using a digital product. And I'll go more in depth about that, but that's how you have to look at it. What solution am I providing for people? That's going to be critical. If you can't identify clearly what that solution is, it's going to be really hard to sell that product for any price. And then finally, where and how to sell the digital products. So many places, like I said, to post them up. This also plays into pricing, but it's critical to understand, am I putting it in a place where the people who need it the most, the people who will use it and pay for it, are going to find it? So we come back, we're going to start off with what are digital products and how to make them. Cool, y'all. So digital products, also known as e-products now, or e-goods. I'm going to call them digital products from here on and stick with that. But if you ever see e-goods or e-products, I sound like a weird echo. E-goods, e-products. Those are the same thing, right? They're all the same, right? So basically just a non-physical item that exists in a digital form. I brought it up before. Think of a contract. Think of a form, right? If you're working with a professional and they give you a specific form, you can have that form in a digital format. You can have that form in, of course, a physical, tangible paper format. That's all it is. So in many cases, this is one thing to hang on to when we're talking about what are digital products. In many cases, what you have physically could also be a digital product. And I want you to hang on to that, because that's essential when it comes down to not only where to sell them, but the pricing. That's going to come critical and it's going to come into play when we really get into the depths of that. But they're really a wide range of products, right? You can have articles, even blog articles are considered technically a digital product in some cases, especially when you input affiliate marketing links, you put in sponsorship links because it generates revenue. It can become itself a product. A download of music, that's clearly one of the first digital products a lot of us encountered on the internet was downloading music, right? Or listening to music, internet radio, television, even streaming. Those are all digital products. Software is a digital product. Now, if I'm starting to open it up a little bit more, I'm really hoping that you guys are seeing how big this could get. So, for example, if you are listening on iTunes, if you are listening on Spotify, if you're listening on my favorite podcast distribution service, the one that I like to use and one I've been using for the longest, Podbean, those are digital products. Now that's looking at it from a very high level, a major, conglomerate level, of course. And that's looking at it from, of course, an app. The application itself is a product. You can make this as a digital product. You can make these types of products too. Don't think you can't make an app. You can't get an app developed and you can't sell an app, or you can't distribute and license an app. You can. Don't put yourself in a position where you're thinking, okay, I can only make templates for Canva. I can only make ebooks, because those are digital products as well, of course. No, what interests you? And this goes back to, like I said, from the top of what to hang on to, where the marketplace is, the solution for someone. What's the best solution for someone? What am I capable of now, and what can it develop into? We're going to talk about that a lot more as we get into those final points. But it's anything that can be sold, developed and sold through digital means. Download, upload. I can access it through a website. I don't have to download anything. And here's a big one. This is what makes them really valuable. It's because a lot of times what we're seeing digital products is they're customizable, right? So templates. So I brought up templates. I brought up a Canva, Etsy. That's probably the biggest area that gets the most play when we talk about, or at least I'm going to talk about when we hear about digital products. People always talk about a template that you can purchase from Etsy, and that template could be for Adobe. That template could be for Canva, most likely is what's going to be for. That template could be for a designer. But what it really comes down to is that the most used digital products right now are the ones I just brought up. And those are applications, those are apps. Whether it's the full application, a plugin, an extension, something you can In other words, an application that works in conjunction with another. So maybe a plugin like for WordPress. WordPress has the largest library of extensions or applications that you can use in conjunction with your WordPress to get the most out of that website because it's open source. Open source software is a great place to potentially build something or modify something, right? And then distribute it because it's open season for everybody to create. That's the best part about it. And we have a lot of software that's out there right now. WordPress is the most famous. It's the most famous application like that. But there's a lot of different platforms out there that are open source where people can develop plugins, extensions, and things like that. And I'll tell you right now, a lot of them are not developed by, or I should say, of course, they're developed by developers and programmers. But the concept was created by a person who needed a solution. Keep that in mind. I'm going to keep coming back to those things, right? Of when we're looking at the opportunity of what's best for that customer, for that audience. Now, one of the more convenient or the quickest way to develop a digital product, think of lead magnets, think of lead generation tools, white papers, and reports. Lead magnets, that can be anything, right? That's anything that can generate or at least capture the information from a prospective customer, from an audience, and get them to become a lead, a true lead, right? Where you identify exactly what will get them to convert to a customer. So, for example, we've all gone through this where we've gotten a cool email, maybe it's a newsletter we follow. And because that emailer, because that resource that we trust has allowed maybe a sponsor to promote their product, their service, or another entrepreneur in that same newsletter, they had a link. And in that link, we click on it. We're like, hey, that sounds like information I can use. That sounds like information I need for my business. They click on that link and it takes us to a landing page. And that landing page says, you know what? I'm going to give you a free guide, a checklist, or an ebook. Okay. In exchange, all I want is your email address, your name, maybe your phone number, and this is where using pages like this, landing pages, can be incredibly important, incredibly valuable because you can get down to the specifics of what exactly you need. Of course, if you're trying to keep it pretty leveled, pretty simple, you usually want the main target information, right? Name and email address, maybe phone number. But depending upon the business and depending upon your business, you may want to know, and of course, what the ultimate lead magnet is. Maybe you want to know the birthday. Or maybe you want to know at least the city location. You don't want the phone number. You want to know what city or state they're in, or maybe even what country, because that will help you with your marketing and your targeting. That lead magnet that you're about to download, that ebook that you're about to get in exchange for your contact information, that is a digital product that they developed to capture your information so they can remarket to you. A lot of times we see it with webinars, another form of digital product, where it's like, hey, yeah, you're going to come to this webinar. And it has a little checkbox at the bottom that says, you opt in. And of course, you have that option. You opt in to receive more of our marketing down the road, whether you attend the webinar or not. Digital products are a great way to get to the point where you're about to make the sale. That's why I said this. I'm going to set in more of the reality of things. Not necessarily, hey, you're automatically going to, make a bunch of money from it. It can get you to the next point. It can get you farther down what they call like the sales and the marketing funnel, right? Which is, the person might make a decision to purchase something right now. We're going to give them something for free. And you know what? We're going to give you something even bigger, more important, also for free. Because we're really trying to sell you and identify, identify. Let's just be honest, because we're both making that decision. Identify, is this going to be a good relationship? Whether it's going to be me selling you products on a weekly basis, it's going to be subscribing to my business and my service, it's going to be hiring me as a consultant, no matter what it is, right? You might not be ready to make that decision yet, but that's why these lead magnets and they turn to lead generation tools, whether it's the ebook, it's the webinar, it's the course, it's a template, right? It could be a video tutorial, might not be a webinar, it could be an on-demand tutorial that you take that becomes a lead generation tool. White papers are just really reviews and not even reviews. White papers are more so an overall like a case study or a report. Very in-depth, very well built out, very well thought out. And this is something you see from the bigger corporations. You'll see white papers all the time, especially at the end of the year. I've literally called it, like they say, it's, ending the year in December, it's like a white Christmas. No, it's white papers. Because every company releases all these reports and all this, because also they're trying to capture more leads, right? We're talking about we're talking about everybody from Intuit, Microsoft, Adobe, everybody, Canva, everybody releases white papers at this time frame. And it makes sense because they've taken a year of data, a year of study, a year of research, a year of work. And now they're saying, hey, you know what? We got all this to share with other professionals, and this is why you should work with us. So if you're selling a software, if you're selling your services as a digital marketer, your services as a web developer, your services as a CPA, as a consultant, a white paper is a great lead generation tool, right? Is a fantastic tool to get you started, to build out that target audience and to identify who would potentially use your service, especially, like I said, accountants, right? Look what's right around the corner. If you do this in December, right around the corner is tax season. So if you want to help small businesses with their taxes, you want to help, bigger corporations with their taxes, this is the perfect time. PricewaterhouseCoopers does this all the time. We see this from McKinsey. We see this from all the big companies, all the big corporations, especially consultants. Like I said, software consultants are the ones who do it the most, but everybody does it. Even, of course, the government. They release all these major reports, and typically in white papers. So going over real quickly, just to level set and get an idea, like not only from the lead generation tool, but also what you could directly sell. Here's a list of pretty much, I would say the top, not necessarily the top 25 in all for all types of businesses, but this top 25, they get the most traffic in general, and it can be applied to many different businesses. The idea is to find out which one applies best to your service, to your solution, right? Of course, ebooks, printable planners, social media templates, but then you have things like stock photo. A lot of people forget those are digital products. Stock photo and video. Okay. Video presets, video edit presets. I just downloaded a bunch of them going forward to do, video work for clients. Great. I purchased some, got some as, free gifts, guides, any kind of guide, whether it's a fitness guide, a meal plan guide, a guide for, doing your business taxes, logo design bundles, budgets and trackers, project plans. All those are the top, most followed or more sought after, but there's a lot more to it. They can be used in conjunction. You can have a smaller version that starts off, as that lead generation tool, and a more in-depth premium version, one that people pay for. But those are digital products in a nutshell. Everything from software to something someone can download to something someone's listening to or using online, and they're just playing music, playing video, whatever it may be, or editing. All that can be as a digital product. Don't limit yourself to one type. Don't think, okay, I can only do an ebook. I can only make, Excel spreadsheets or something like that. It can be what's best for your customer. And that's what it really should be. This is why most people fail with digital products. They want to build something they think is really popular. And it might be popular because it's easy to make, not necessarily because it's a solution that's generating real revenue. What does your target audience need? I challenge you right now. Here's a challenge right now. Write this down. What does my audience need right now? My customer. And maybe you're still developing your business. So this is even better time to do some research. What digital solutions are out there right now that I need for my business, right? That someone in my business needs. And then you can start connecting the dots of how you can develop your own. So next up, we're going to go into how to make digital products. Okay, now y'all. So what does your audience need? Who is your audience? What are the problems that they're facing? Will a digital product actually solve those problems for them, or at least help them find a solution or ease their current situation? Those are the questions you need to answer before you make digital products. See, when people talk about digital products don't make money, I can't do anything with them, this is where we see the biggest problem right off the bat with these types of business ventures. A lot of times it's based on, hey, I saw someone else selling this on Etsy, or I saw someone else selling this on Evanto, or I saw someone selling this on Amazon. So it has to be a good product for me. Now, didn't say that means it's not a good product for anyone. It might not be the best product for you. Know who that audience is. Identify the audience and identify exactly what you can produce for them. Not just what you want to produce, but also what you can produce, because you may want to produce something that's just not in your skill set, your budget just yet. Get to that point. I brought up this term before in a couple past episodes, and we've talked about it when it comes to startups and MVP, right? A minimal viable product. What can I get done now with what I have, the resources I have, that can get the job done? In other words, that can give me some sales, that can give me some leads, that whatever that job is. I always suggest this. If you can come up with, and literally it's like this, if you can come up with just three, a lead generation or lead magnet digital product, a digital product at a very, very low price that does earn you some type of revenue. It might not necessarily be like, okay, I'm going to be a billionaire with this thing. It could be simply that this curbs all the expenses. Or at least this covers all the expenses, that I'm about to incur developing the product and going farther with it. And here's the third product. A premium version, a higher end version, a version. And this is the one that's always gotten me. In other words, like I've seen the best entrepreneurs who work with digital products and the ones I'm happy to purchase because I'm like, dude, I see where this was going. Well, they make a smaller version or they make a more, for lack of a better term, watered down version. And then they have this higher end premium version, which is, okay, I showed you what I can do at this smaller level, that MVP level. And it actually solves some problems. Now, if it helped you enough and you need additional assistance or you need additional, whatever the service may be, or whatever the tools may be, I have a more premium version or I have a higher end version. It costs about 2 to 3 times more. But the whole idea is that I helped you with your problem with the first one, with the smaller version, with the more affordable, right? The more economical one. Now with this higher end premium, this luxury item, it's not only going to get the job done, but maybe you can share it out with others. Maybe you can have more seats if it's software, that kind of thing. Because this helps to turn an actual digital product transition it from a freebie to okay, it covers some costs, it covers some expenses, I'm breaking even, to now I'm making some real money. A lot of successful digital products have been developed this way because a lot of us can't do the freemium. We can't do the freeware, right? We can't do Facebook where we spend billions of dollars on the actual product or what we think is the product, right? And the tool and get all our money back from advertising. I'm going to get to that in a second. Like I said, you have to decide what that product is. And that doesn't necessarily mean they all the same thing. For example, maybe your entry, here's a great roadmap. Maybe your lead magnet, lead generation digital product is for someone to come in and download a template. Now, when they download that template, they also sign up for another digital product, which is your webinar. Not a course, a webinar. At the end of the webinar, that's where you hit them with hey, you can take the course. The webinar is just a snippet of the course. The webinar is a piece of the course. And in the course, not only do I teach you how to use that template, do I go over how we use that template and apply that template? And do I take everything we start off in this webinar and we go more in depth, applying what you got with that free template? I'm going to take you to the next level, showcase, the different software, the different other tools that I can use. And in those tools and those softwares, those are all affiliates. Of course, this is based on you actually providing something that people want. This isn't just you throwing, hey, you can use this affiliate. Well, why am I using this affiliate? Right? It's not like I'm taking this. You give me social media templates. You show me how to use, Meta Business Dashboard and Meta Business Manager. And then your affiliate marketing is, hey, you know what, by the way, do you need insurance? It's like, keep it in line. Right. And this is why I want to be. This is why I'm not giving you the advice to go out and sell people a bunch of crap they don't need. It's not about that. This is all about you wanting to really solve people's problems and being a solution resource. Like I said, from the very beginning, the very first step is knowing that target audience. What can you create for them? And what is your lane that you can help them in? This is not about you going out being the sleazy sales guy. This is about you going out there and solving people's problems, or at least helping them as a business owner, whether it's business to business, business to consumer, or both. Choose the right tools and software is the next step, because this is where people think all of it has to be done. I'll be honest, this seems to be the area that most people work the most in, which is, with all due respect and honesty, it isn't the most important. Because you can build this stuff in almost every platform now. I mentioned, I'll give you 3 completely different platforms. So completely different in the sense that totally different companies. No, they're not subsidiaries of one another, because a lot of people don't know. A lot of these companies are connected. We can have a whole episode about subsidiaries alone. It'll probably blow everybody's mind. I'll tell you right now, it's crazy. So Canva, Designer, Adobe Creative Suite, all can do the same thing. Even better yet, Adobe Express, which is a really, really great tool, honestly. Had a great course. Shout out to the course I took on Skillshare. This is not a sponsorship. This is not an advertisement. I would just tell you right now, this is a great course on Adobe Express. If you're using Adobe Express, I would definitely suggest this course and a link to it. This is not affiliate. There's no payback for this. It's just a really great course. I had a great time. I literally went from being a novice to becoming a very well-versed practitioner and using it, Adobe Express. And it's a great tool. But Adobe Express, Designer, Canva, all same thing. I think I brought this up in a couple episodes. I'll say it one more time that I literally used to create posters and flyers. And that was my first graphic design work, my first paid work at least, in Microsoft Publisher, right? And the better I got with Publisher, then you would think, if people thought I was using Photoshop at one point or Illustrator at one point. And I was like, no, I'm using a combination of Microsoft Paint and Publisher because that's all I had access to. I couldn't afford Photoshop. I couldn't afford Illustrator. I couldn't afford InDesign. And that's my point. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, a lot of times the software doesn't really matter because right now it's coming down to the user, how comfortable in your knowledge. And that's why I brought up that course. What can you get to right now that you can build with right now? Hey, you're really good at Excel. You're still learning Google Sheets. Build in Excel first, then start practicing with Google Sheets. Maybe you've never ever touched Microsoft Teams, but you know Slack, you know Notion, you know Asana. Use that instead. Because the idea is, once again, you are a solutions resource. See, if I build a tool for a product, for a service, something like that, I don't know much about. That's like saying, and I've seen this before, I'm not trying to call anybody out specific, but I've seen these before. Hey, here's some social media templates for an industry a person knows nothing about. And those templates make no sense to that industry. I've actually cleaned up an entire template set doing that because someone said, hey, I bought a template set for my business. I'll say at least what the industry was. Someone bought a template set for insurance, and specifically their insurance, right? They were an insurance broker. So they had many different, insurance that they can offer. And they're like, I bought this template set that was supposed to be designed for insurance. Now, there's a difference. They didn't buy something that was general. They bought something designed for insurance. They're like, there's things you can't say. There's things you can't do. This isn't placement. It doesn't make sense. The imagery, but they bought it because they're like, hey, somebody said, hey, there's a set specifically for it. They just say, I don't care about social media. I don't like social media like that. I just need to buy something that'll help me get and schedule some posts. And that's, I went in there, redid the whole template set. And now they could schedule their posts without a problem. They can, and I even taught them how to use Canva. Notice what I just said there? I redesigned it in a tool that I taught them how to use, okay, and how to schedule, because they didn't know all those aspects of the tool. I did something which was a premium service at first, to be honest with you. That was the premium service. But that middle portion, I taught them how to use Canva. I didn't charge them for that. That was a couple sessions, 2 days, couple sessions, nothing crazy. What I did charge them for is the step-by-step of us going through scheduling their post, doing a video with them, and boom. So I kind of flipped it around. I took the premium to the retainer or the lead magnet, if you will, because they were already a customer. So it wasn't really a lead magnet, but I gave them additional service on top of that. Remember, we're trying to solve problems and be solutions to people. And that goes into creating high quality content, not high volume, high quality content, right? So create a plan. Create an outline of what you want to develop. With my digital products, I always say, okay, this is at the top, this description is what's going to be, but then let's create an outline of the why, the what, the where, the how much, and put real value into it. Because even though even if it is a free lead magnet tool, you want to showcase, hey, I put some time and effort and energy into this. I'm not saying spend the years, because hell, even, and I'm serious, we're talking about even products like a big, like software, right? We're talking about apps. To be honest with you, some of these they're not spending 10, 20 years developing this thing. They don't have that kind of time. It's MVP. What can we get out the door, get into the channel, get into the world? People can give us feedback, but let's at least put some time and effort into it like we actually care. Because people are going to know this. Customers are going to know this. I tell you, the best thing you can hear about any product, whether it's digital or physical, is especially with a digital product, because you get the feedback a little faster, is I see what you were going for. Here's what's missing. Thank you for trying this, but here's what needs to be developed. Somebody said that. I'll tell you real facts. Somebody said about the podcast, one of the very first episodes. They're like, I see what you're going for there. I like this, but change this up. Drop that, and that person became a regular listener. And that's the kind of thing we got to think about. Like, okay, just taking feedback in, putting some time in, I'm going to say it. Hope there's no kids around. Hope you don't mind. Actually giving a damn from the very beginning and getting it done. That's the first step, right? And then getting down to the channel and then taking people's feedback. Optimize, because it's a digital product. Now, this is where the software necessarily might not matter, but the consideration when you're downloading it, or consideration, the final piece when you're testing it. Optimize it. If it is printable, most likely it should be a PDF, right? That's the best document to print. If it's video, and I know there's going to be people who have their opinions about it, but if it's a video file, make it a format that can play on all devices. If you're making a product or a tool that's only going to be good on Android, that's, no offense, that's really silly. And I understand, like, if your target audience is really, okay, I'm focusing on people with Android, or I'm focusing on people with iOS, then I can see the why you would want to limit yourself. But it's those types of things. That unless you have a clear cut, hey, my target audience is only using iPhones. My target audience is only going to use an Android phone. My target audience is only going to use a Windows laptop. That kind of thing. Don't ever put yourself in a position where the file type is something that only people with very specific software can open. Right now, if you're making it for an Adobe, if you're making Adobe templates and they have to be using Adobe, that's one thing. If you're making templates and they have to be open in Canva, which can take PDF and all this kind of stuff, that's one thing. If you're making Excel files, and of course they can only be open in Excel, but you can actually convert them and have them in Google Sheets, that's something different. But if you're telling me that you're saying, hey, I'm only going to make something that, okay, if you have a Linux computer, wait. Okay, now you've eliminated a lot of people, right, who are using that operating system. Or I have something that's only for iOS. Okay, extremely limited, but if that's something that, because it aligns with something else that's only on iOS, I can understand. But don't shoot yourself in the foot in the beginning. Optimize to be used across devices. Optimize to be used across different software. Like I said, if it's Excel, great. You can open up in Google Sheets. This is why a lot of digital products that are for Excel, you typically see, they say, hey, we have an Excel version and we have a Google Sheets version, which is great from the very beginning, because I could just take the Excel sheet and still upload it in Google Sheets. But the developer took enough time to say, hey, just in case, so you don't have to take that extra step, that's being considerate. Optimize for digital use. The packaging. I know what you're probably wondering. Packaging, Aaron, is digital. What the hell? Well, yes. If it's an ebook, the cover, hello. We all know it. Don't act like you ain't one of them people. I know I'm one of the people, and I have no problem doing it because I used to buy comic books, and it's a whole thing. Listen, we buy books a lot of times, most of the time, many times, based on the cover. It's okay. It's okay. We're visual creatures. Hence why we have YouTube, why we have Instagram, why we have everything that we have. Packaging matters. But you know what goes along with that packaging? I threw somebody for a loop with one of my digital products. They're like, dude, I didn't expect to see a video tutorial. It's a spreadsheet. I say yes, but not everyone buying this, so not everyone downloading this is going to know how to use it right off the bat. How rude of me to think that, oh, you should just know how to use it. That's not thinking of the customer. That's not thinking of the person downloading. This is where digital products often mess up. People think, oh, okay, I can just make a template and I can just, boom, someone's going to know exactly what to do. Well, wait a minute. Every day I hear people who didn't know that they could upload a PDF into Canva. Okay, I'm exaggerating with every day and I hate to exaggerate, but I hear it often. I do hear it often. A lot of people don't know you can upload your own fonts. You can upload your own PDFs and edit within Canva. So as many people are using Canva on a regular basis and don't know that, how many things people don't know? And it's okay. That's literally the purpose of you creating the products, is because they don't know something or they don't have the time to find something out. Make some instructions. A simple instruction document. I brought this up about websites, video, a tutorial, throw in a tutorial. It's not a trade secret. Throw in a tutorial. People watch the video. Throw in audio. Make it accessible to everyone. Say, hey, if you can't watch the video, well, here's the audio. Maybe they're having issues with their computer and they can't pull up the video. Maybe the file is too large, right? So, instead of adding an MP3 or MP4, boom, you know what? All of our all of our product instructions are on YouTube. You see how I'm saying? You see, you're thinking of the customer. That's when that planning comes into play. Next up, test your product. I would always suggest at least one person outside of your team. Because some people, they have a team and they're trusting their team, which is awesome. But get somebody who's outside their team. And here's the best one. This is, oh my God. Okay, I'm taking a second because, when people talk about the cliche of quotes, your network is your net worth. And people say, oh my God, that's so cliche or whatever like that. It's not. This is the power of a network. Who can you go to? And this is when I'm talking about your network. Who can you go to who has your same profession? So if you're creating a product, let's say you create a digital product for cafe owners, you own a cafe, or you just want to create products for cafe owners. Of course, I always go to coffee because, I have a problem. It's okay. It is okay because I've accepted it. So don't judge me. Anyway, you've created a product for cafe owners. Do you know cafe owners? Say, hey, will this be of help to you? If I created something like this, can you look at this? Can you test it out? Can you use this? What's wrong with this? You don't need 1,000, 5, 10, maybe 20. I mean, we're talking major corporations that have millions of customers. They trust focus groups of 50 people, 20 people, maybe even 10 people. In some cases, depending upon what they're working on, because of the simple fact, they know it's hard to get time from people. It's hard to get people's dedicated attention. But at the end of the day, can you just jump on your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your TikTok, and reach out to people, connect with them, say, hey, you know what? These are my friends. These are the people who follow me. These people connect with me. Can I get you 5 to test out this product? Tell me what you think. Give me a week. Done this all the time. And I tell you what, it saves you so many headaches. It saves you so many problems. And here's the cool part about it. It will save you the issues of having to deal with potential returns. Yes. Oh, yeah. I said it. Returns. Digital products and returns. And that can get to be a real serious issue. And that's actually the issue a lot of people have with digital products or I should say specifically customers, because people are like, well, wait a minute. I can't get my money back. Because in most cases, like, well, no, you downloaded it. You have it. If I refund you, Now, maybe in the area of software applications and access to those things like a subscription, that's one thing. But when we're talking about a template, when we're talking about, Excel files, when we're talking about an ebook, what's somebody going to say? Okay, I'm going to return it. What? Really? You download this on your computer. How do I know? You don't get a refund. So this is the reason why a lot of people have an issue with digital products from the consumer standpoint, because they're thinking, well, I might not get my money back. Who's to say this thing actually works and does what it's supposed to do, or actually solves my problems? Tutorials will help with this. Study guides will help with this. Follow-ups, courses will help with this. Okay, but especially testing. Build out your network. Who are those 5 people? I'm going to ask you right now, who are the 5 people I can go to test my digital product? Write that down. I'm not BSing you. Write it down now. Because if you're actually thinking about making a digital product, well, who are the 5 people who are going to test this before I go out and try to sell it? And this is the big thing. I'll challenge you with this one. If it's free, 5 people. If you're going to charge people, or the digital product, if it's going to be a premium product, if you're going to charge like $199, $599, $100, go for 10 people. Or at least 7. The reason why I want to keep it uneven, that way, you don't get into like a deadlock kind of thing. but I like round numbers. But but no, really, you want to have a decent pool of people, because that will give you ideas of maybe they find something that you didn't see that needs to be included. Not that it's not to say that it messed up. They're like, oh yeah, I love this. Like I told you with the podcast. That's somebody said, I love this. It should have this. And then I got more feedback with, okay, it should have that. That's great. But stop doing that. And it worked out and better with recording as well. Do the same thing. So write this down. If it's free, who are the 5 people you would turn to? If it's not free, if it's premium, meaning you're going to charge for that digital product, who are the 7 to 10 people that are going to test it out with you? And yes, of course, like I say, your team is probably going to be on there. And I can understand, especially if you're just starting out, but you want to get people who are away from your team, people in your network, people you would who would be potential customers. Like, hey, would you buy something like this? And if you would, what's missing? What needs to be added? What needs to be fixed? What needs to be dropped? That kind of thing. Next up, set up an online store and platform. Now, I don't think I have to go back over this, but I will, because it doesn't hurt to say it. First off, this is a podcast, so all of everything that's being said makes perfect sense. You should have a website. You should have a website. I'm not going to give you the traditional reason why I tell you to have a website. Digital real estate, you can do advertising, sponsorships on it, all that stuff. I'm going to give you the reason that most people freaking forget. And this is coming from the perspective of, dude, I get this. And I'm not exaggerating with this one. Every single week, I see a request for this type of service. How can I run an ad specifically? How can I run an ad? Or how do I capture that data, right, from one of the third-party marketplaces? You can do what are called in-app ads. So Etsy, you can run ads. Amazon, you can run ads. eBay, you can run ads. Alibaba, you can run ads. Great, not a problem at all. But then when someone says, hey, I want to run a Facebook ad, a Google ad, a Taboola ad for my Etsy store, for my Amazon store, for my third party, whatever that third party store may be. Here is the problem. You still have to connect. And in some cases, not all cases, we're getting closer to where more of these companies are working together in conjunction. But you have to connect the tracking. And in many cases, these platforms don't want to give you all that data. Even if it's the customer buying from you, your website opens all that up to you because you own that platform. You will know exactly who the customer is. You will know that person's email. You can capture that person's phone number and whatever other contact information you have with your own website. You are not privy to all that information when you work through a third party. One, people always want to make it like it's something nefarious. It's actually not. It makes perfect sense. The top reason. The top reason is not saying you're a bad person, not saying you're a bad person at all, but hey, Amazon don't know you like that. eBay don't know you like that. Etsy doesn't know you like that. If they give you all that personal information to the customer through their platform, they're liable. It makes perfect sense to me. Some people don't understand it, but if you understand legalities and business of things, it actually makes perfect sense. If I give you all this person's contact information, you got it through me, and then somehow, some way, something negative, nefarious, something bad happens, they're liable. So it's kind of a way to protect themselves. Now, then there's the other way, the business way, which does make sense as well, which is I also want to be the one to market to them. So I'm not going to give you everything to where you don't need me anymore. Because I want you to sell through Etsy. I want you to sell through Amazon. I want you to sell through eBay. This is why you need your own website. I've been on Fiverr, Upwork, Etsy. Never sold through eBay. But I've been on a lot of different platforms. I will never be without my own website. I had my own website before. And as long as it don't cost $1 quadrillion, when that number doesn't exist, but who knows, it could exist one day. I will always have my own website. Right? Because this is about our relationship. It's about you and me. You and me. We're together in this. Okay? I know I make bad dad jokes, but it's about my relationship with my customer, my consumer, my audience. So I'll always have my own website first and foremost. Work through other platforms without a problem, but I will always have my own. That's also the entrepreneur in me, right? It's the exact same mindset. So selecting the platform is based on a lot of factors. Number one, we went to that top factor, which of course that audience. But then of course, where are they going to find those solutions? And based on that, what can you produce and connect to them through those solutions? So there's a lot. There's Etsy, there's Gumroad, there's Creative Market, there's Evanto. Like I said, there's Amazon, there's a ton of marketplaces. And like I said, a lot of people harp on the software to use and then the marketplace, which are almost completely irrelevant. Almost. When it comes to the core aspects of things, they are. Because at the end of the day, the software, a lot of stuff like I showed you, there could be 3 different platforms that you can make all the software. The marketplace, that's a lot more critical. That's a lot more critical because you also want to make sure, of course, the target audience is knowledgeable, because trying to take them to a place they've never heard of is really tough, is really difficult, especially if the money and the resources isn't behind that platform to get people there. You know, a lot of things have changed with Etsy over the years, and a lot of people have issues with it. But I will say this, Etsy is getting people to Etsy. Etsy's trying to get traffic to Etsy. Now, I can't knock that. I can't hate on that, because that means, you know, even though as a creator, you have to be very strategic, you have to be, you know, you have to learn, let's say, a bunch of, you know, practices, and maybe it's just taking you out of your wheelhouse. And then it's also, you know, heightening that competition is also making it more challenging for you. At the same time, I'd rather see a platform get people to the platform. You know, Fiverr's been doing that. Fiverr's been doing that very good. Upwork has been doing that, I'm thinking, almost since the jump. But Fiverr finally got on board with it. But Upwork has been doing this from the jump. I mean, I've seen Upwork advertisements for years. I just started seeing Fiverr really make a big push in the past like 2 to 3 years, but especially since the pandemic. But Upwork has been doing this since the jump, and I love it. That's one thing I respect about Upwork. They have always put money towards, we need to get people to this platform. And the cool part about it, from what I've always seen, they don't highlight a certain group over another group, right? They've been very, hey, this is not about go to these creators. This isn't about go to that group of creators or that country with creators. I hate to say it, Fiverr does have a lot of aspects to that. Or I would say they have a lot of practice that look that way. Upwork has always been, hey, just get people to the platform. You can find your solutions, get the people to the platform. Absolutely love that about them. So that might be that really should be the factor of why you pick, you know, which platform is, are they going to get people to the platform to where they can buy my stuff? Market your product. Going back to that, like I said, you can do in-app ads, which I think are a great opportunity. The only thing is to keep in mind they are in-app ads. So you could spend maybe not going to spend $100,000, but you're probably going to spend a couple thousand on advertising within the Amazon platform. Remember, for the most part, that's pretty restricted. That's within the Amazon network and the Amazon platform. It's a pretty big network. Still nothing like Google. Still not like Meta. You know, where are people going to find you? So yes, I would always say split that, but it's based on that target audience. Once again, it all starts from that target audience. And this is going to be, you know, on top of, you have to market, you have to promote. I can't tell you, and I really hate to say it, but there are so many people who start a business and just don't tell anybody. I never understood that. There are so many people who start a business and just don't tell people. I have had that so many times where people will say, well, okay, I started my website. Okay, I started doing this, but now what? Have you told anybody? Well, I'm talking to you. No, not talking to me. Have you told anybody? Are you literally going out and telling people? Word of mouth. Nothing's going to replace it until we don't have mouths. It is literally still the best, because now you have a one-on-one opportunity to connect with somebody. And I'm not just talking about just tell anybody, right? Clearly you want to focus on who you're talking to, but you never know who you're talking to. Seriously, I've gotten clients from just walking into a cafe. You know me at cafes, once again, got a problem. It's okay. Walk into a cafe and just talking, just speaking to the waitress, speaking to the person, you know, the cashier, and chit-chatting. What do you do? Build websites. What do you do? I create logos. Oh, you know what? Literally goes into this. I'm referencing 3 conversations. Oh, I have a friend. Oh, I've had this. Oh, my dad, which was awesome. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, my dad needs a logo for his business. That was a cool conversation, by the way. I was like, oh, that's awesome. That was awesome. I love hearing it's a family business. That's awesome to hear. I've had it from coworkers. It doesn't matter, right? Working your full-time job, side hustling, or you're working full-time job, and this is what you do in freelancing. Same thing. Been there, done that my whole pretty much my whole professional life. Whenever I'm freelancing, when I was on my side hustle, I had a full-time job at the same time. Let people know what you do because you never know. But it happens a lot. People start a business. What do I do? I mean, hell, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm open. I don't care. Put a post on Craigslist, dude. Something. Let people know. Don't rely all on paid advertising, because when you do that and you put everything in paid advertising, that's going to become a crutch. That is what you're always going to need to do, because you've never developed the skills of how to have it in a conversation. What's my elevator pitch? I haven't even gone into search engine optimization, but let's be honest. What's my search engine optimization? And search engine optimization comes into play with all of this. Anything you do online, you should always have search engine optimization is next, or search engine optimization is a central part of this. Once again, get that feedback and constantly update and improve. Okay, so those 10 points: identify the audience, decide on your digital product, choose the right tools and software, create quality content, test, evaluate, optimize for digital use, optimize across platforms, package your product, test your product, set up an online store and platform. I would always suggest, if you can afford it, website. But I understand you got to start somewhere first. So third-party marketplace. I just gave somebody this advice on Quora, one of our Quora spaces. Remember, I answer questions every Monday and Saturday on Quora. And we go live with some of those Q&As. But if you have to get your chips up, you have to get your money up, completely respect that, completely understand that. We're all in different positions. Start off with that third-party marketplace, but give yourself a plan and say, hey, when I get my first 100, when I get my first 200, 500, whatever it may be, that's when I'm going to build my website. And I'm going to hire Aaron to do it. Shameless plug, just joking. But that really should be a goal, because you don't want to put yourself in a position where, what if Amazon says you can't sell that product anymore? Or what if Etsy, ups the prices per listing? Those are real critical factors. Remember, you're still going to be paying those credit card fees. You're still paying transaction fees pretty much no matter what. But now you may even reduce a lot of those expenses. Puts a little more responsibility on you. But remember, this is your business. It should matter. Market your product, advertise in organic and word of mouth, and then finally update and improve. So with that, have a question for you. And guys, let me know in the comments. You can let me know in the message. Do you want us to make a video creating a digital product? Because somebody asked for this in one of the core spaces, and I was actually going to just do it with them in a webinar. It was a small group of people. It was going to be really cool. But I thought about it. I was like, well, maybe other people want to see it, because I don't see enough people doing this. We talk about digital products all the time. Drop a comment, make digital product. Okay. And basically I'll give it to, we get to the top of next season. So if you guys drop that comment, if I do see enough comments saying, make digital product, I'll give it a round number. If I see 10 comments saying make digital product, because like I said, we already had this question come up in core spaces. I'll do a video. Might do a live, may not do a live, but live would be really cool too, because I can take your questions also, of making a digital product. And what I'll make, something that we were going to make for an upcoming episode, and I'll even share it out with the group. We can get your feedback, or I think that would be a really cool way of doing it as well. So if I get 10 comments saying make a digital product, I keep it low, because, maybe some people do, maybe some people don't, but make a digital product. Put that in the comments. If I see 10 comments for that, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make a digital product, and we'll go live doing that too. All right. So with that, that's pretty much the gist of it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It just really comes down to what you want to make and that skill set that you have. Now, Why are digital products so important is what we'll come back to. Go into why they're so important. And then, of course, really, where and how to sell the products, because I touched on that multiple times. And I really want to make sure that that gets the most attention of all the different options that you have out there and, how to sell them, how to get them out there, how to get them into the channel, not just going to this high level that we just went over. So why are digital products important and where and how to sell them when we come back? Why are digital products so important right now? Well, creating and selling digital products is actually more critical than ever. Okay, things are changing all the time. And the fact is, a lot of people need additional assistance because there's so much information out there. I know that sounds crazy. Well, wait a minute, we're going to create products for information, and there's already a lot of information. Well, here's the thing. The reason why some digital products are very successful for one software or one platform is because there's not enough information even being pushed out by the actual publisher, by the designer. I brought up the term MVP. A lot of time we see products that are thrown out there so fast, and I do mean like software. We're talking about actual websites, actual major billion-dollar platforms where there isn't a lot of documentation. There isn't a lot of, guides. There aren't a lot of go-to places. So that's why blogs became very powerful tools. Now people are using and leveraging podcasts and YouTube for the same thing, or I should say YouTube and podcasts, the exact opposite. But what we're seeing the most is a need for people to say, hey, you know what? That's great. There's a YouTube channel. There's a blog channel. There's whatever. Can I download something? Can I get something to get me a little farther down the process? In other words, okay, I saw the YouTube channel on how to use this project management software. Is there a template that I can upload and I can just customize for my needs? Or is there a template that is customized already for my industry, for my typical questions, basically my FAQ, my frequently asked questions, or the things that I normally encounter, that I can customize and tailor to my brand? Those are the most successful digital products. And the key is, where people mess up with digital products, they're thinking like, oh my God, you're teaching someone how to do your job, or you're teaching someone. I hear this all the time. People have actually said to me, man, you make logos and you actually make templates for logos, or you make, a stock version of a logo that someone can use on their own. Doesn't that hurt your business? No, because this is why you need to know your audience, y'all. This is why you need to know your audience. There will always be those people, and 100%. This is from experience, at least. The people who typically will pay the most are the people who do not want to do it. Say that again. The people who will pay the most are the people who really don't want to do the task. Oh, I can train you and teach you how to use Meta Business Manager. So you can manage your ads. You can manage all your like pages. I have seen the facial expression of the person. Like, I've experienced this where a person looked at me, and I love her to death for saying this because she was flat out honest, and it was just made. It's literally the case study for this, right? Aaron, I don't want to do it. Can I? And she said, can I just pay you to do it for me and for my company? Yup. And I went, yup, I got you. Whenever I bring up that term to people, I can train you, I can teach you. I don't want to do it. I don't want you to train me and teach me. It goes back to, I don't want to know how the cookie or the cake or the whatever the food is that just floats your boat. I don't want to know how it's made. I just want to eat it and enjoy it. And you know what? Those are the people who pay the most. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. You're like, well, yeah, I'm trying to leverage to where it's a passive income thing. True. But if you're focusing on that, that means you're missing one other thing I'm saying. The people who pay the most. You're going to showcase that you know the platform. You're going to showcase that you know how it works. You're going to showcase that you know what it does by creating these lead generation tools, by creating these simple lead magnets, these white papers, these low-cost digital products, $1.99, $2.99, $3.99, $5.99, maybe $25, maybe depending upon what it is. Maybe it's a course. Remember, a course is a digital product. If you want to hire me, great. You took my course for let's put some real money to this. You took my course. You downloaded it. It was $100. Still not a crazy amount of money, but it's something to make people feel it in their wallet a little bit, right? It was $99.99. Oh, you want to hire me to do it for you? Okay. Well, that $100 is how much I charge per hour, how much I charge per day, how much I charge per, whatever we're breaking down into segments. Or maybe I charge by the month. And a monthly fee is $500, or a monthly fee is $750, or a monthly fee is $1,500. See how that price tag went up? Because now you want me to do it for you specifically, taking time away from other things. Clearly, I've showcased that I know what I'm doing, though, right? That's how you lead to those bigger paydays. And like I said, the people who are paid the most are the people I don't want to do it. Just had a conversation a couple weeks ago. I created this beautiful customer journey and roadmap for a musician. They're like, this is awesome. This is great. Here's the automations. And I was saying, okay, this is how you would set up all the automations and everything. Great. And he turns to me, can you do that? I was like, yeah, of course. Like, that's why I'm giving you suggestions, because I went over all this. I know how to set it up. And I'm telling you, okay, this is what I wanted initially, because he initially wanted a roadmap, which is great. But then he's like, hey, you know what? That's a lot of work that I don't have the time for. I'll pay you to do it. Boom, done. That's my point. The point is that people who are willing to pay the most to make their lives and jobs easier, they'll typically pay you to go a couple extra steps into helping them do it, training them to do it at the very least, right? If not doing it for them. And that digital product is a gateway. That's why it's so important right now, because you have people struggling. I have met so many people who are like, dude, I got thrown into a job. I'm now not just the project manager. Okay. I'm also doing the trainings. I'm also doing, the documentation. I'm also doing all the stuff that kind of outside of what I normally did. So I need assistance in, okay, can we at least work on training for customization of the project management platform? Companies are changing software all the time, and they're looking for people. The company might not look for people, but the workers are looking. And those are the people who need the help the most. Those are the people who need the assistance the most. Can we find somebody to help train us on Monday? Can we find someone to help and train us on Smart Sheets? Do some more one-on-one trainings. Because maybe their company doesn't have the enterprise version where they have somebody to come in and help out on a regular basis like that. Some companies do, some companies don't. And I know more companies that don't. And they're trying to develop a SME, a subject matter expert. Been to one company where they literally paid, which made sense. They paid for, okay, these are the 3 people we consider the SMEs. We're going to send them to a training, or they can find their own training. So they found a consultant, somebody that they sat with on, and it was able to be, put into the billable hours. So they were getting their hourly pay, and the consultant was paid for that time frame to train them. They had like about 4 or 5 sessions. It made perfect sense, but they had seen that person on not so much YouTube. They saw webinars when they were looking for that expert. And that's the kind of thing that a digital product can help you with. That webinar was their digital product. It's not that digital products don't work, and it's for damn sure that they're not important. It's, are you doing it the right way? Yes, if you're teaching somebody to do exactly what you do step by step, it doesn't make sense, because you're trying to give somebody 10, 20, maybe even 30 years of knowledge in an hour, in 2 hours, in 3 hours, in a few YouTube videos. No, experts don't do that. Experts would give you, hey, this is what you need to solve this problem, this issue. And if you need more extensive, if you need more work, contact me directly. And this is when you build out a team. This is very important. This is when you build out a team. You train people on how to do what you do. You train your team members. I started developing a team, and that's a team, not coworkers, not employees, a team. I'll be honest with you, I never want employees. I want team members. When I go to a webinar, I'm like, hey, everybody, this is a webinar, and this is going to help us get better at this. Here's a training. This is a training that helps us get better at this. Hey, guys, I have an opportunity to get us a certification. We're going to work together to get certifications in this, because we develop each other, right? So now, if you are getting the revenue you want from these digital products, lead generation tools, white papers, bringing people into webinars, selling courses, Develop your team to where you don't have to be there. I know a great CPA, and I hope one day we can get him for an episode. Great CPA basically did the same thing. And like I said, this is a CPA, this is an accountant, but it can be done with anything. Anything. And digital products make it so easy. So if you know graphic designers, you know web developers, or people who are interested in those areas, you are the expert. They are the novice, or they're the students, or they're just coming in. Okay, guys, let's build some digital products together. Let's test them out. Test them out with our network. See how it goes. Do them for as freebies. Maybe, okay, we start selling them. And then when we get to the point where we can start charging for bigger trainings, or we can, consulting, or, doing bigger projects, speaking engagements. Some of the members, we take turns doing it. But that's why digital products are so important. Like I said, people right now, and we're going into some situations where people, I see it all the time on LinkedIn. People are working 3, 4, 5 jobs technically. They need help. People getting laid off, right? Companies are closing, consolidating. So people are doing more work. The more resources they can find, if you have a course, if you have a white paper, if you have a report, a checklist, if you have a spreadsheet, if you have a tracker, if you have templates that they can use, you are saving them a lot of time. And that's for the people who work in the full-time jobs, not to mention the other freelancers. I know tons of freelancers. They're like, dude, all I do is use, themes and templates that I purchase, licenses all the time. One extension of what we can do, we can develop, customized themes and customized WordPress sites and fully customized websites. We can do that. But if some people, it's not in their budget, we'll say, hey, well, you know what? If there's a theme that we can find that curbs some of that cost, we can use that too. We're flexible in my agency. But that's the whole point, because it's about what the customer needs. And you know what? There's been more customers that have utilized themes because they're like, I like the way this looks off the bat. I like this way this works. And there's a lot of documentation to it. And we'll customize some of the documentation to fit their brand. Makes sense. That's why digital products are important. Now, where and how to sell digital products? I brought up a few. It depends upon the product, of course, right? Now, I'm going to go right off the top with the marketplaces that are primarily for digital products. I mean, they have physical and tangible products, of course, but you can do it a couple ways. Gumroad is really blowing up. Okay, you can sell a lot of products through Gumroad, and it works. Gumroad has a feeling to me, and if you have that same feeling, if you have the same vibe, let me know. Gumroad has that Gumroad has that feeling to me where it feels like a meeting of like a Substack, a Beehive, kind of meets a digital form of Etsy. It's really interesting the way it's set up, and I like it. I like because it has that community vibe, but then it has community with the customer, at least community vibe with the customer and that marketplace. While Etsy is like more just has that marketplace right vibe, even though Etsy has a beautiful community outside of the platform. If you ask me, it's not on the platform, it's not built in, and I, as a customer, don't feel I have that same feeling. Then there's Zazzle. I've been using Zazzle for years as a customer, and also building Zazzle stores and selling products through there. Great for if you have templates for t-shirts, if you have templates for, any kind of apparel or merchandise. It's a great one. I mentioned Udemy, of course, it's great for courses. Redbubble is blowing up, a lot of merchandise, a lot of shirts, a lot of apparel going through there. Creative Market, I mentioned before. I just mentioned Etsy. Etsy's awesome, of course, for crafting. And this is one of the problems that, comes in the kind of conflicts with Etsy. Etsy has blown up as a great place for digital products, even though it was initially for craft. And that's where a lot of people kind of feel like, oh, I'm hearing about these people, who's selling a lot of products on Etsy, but I'm not seeing the traction because a lot of the attention that's driven to Etsy is for those craft items. And to be honest, I kind of feel the same way it should be. It was that place for that. And I really appreciate and liked it for that. Although you do have a lot of people who create physical products on there. They take them from a digital to physical. They make a theme, or they make a template, or they make a some type of a digital component, and they'll put it through onto a piece of apparel or merchandise that can be ordered through Etsy, and it goes through kind of drop shipping and stuff like that. It's people have their feelings about it, but there's a lot of great platforms for it, right? There's a lot of great platforms to sell digital products. What it always comes down to, as I mentioned earlier on, knowing that audience and knowing the product. Are you going to sell a course? Well, Kajabi, Skillshare, Coursera, Udemy. Of course, Coursera is a little different. You have to work through that platform. It's not just uploading a course as simple as that. And there's a little bit more restrictions on that, which is understandable. But you can sell courses directly through your site too. There's WooCommerce allows for this. Wix now has aspects of it on their website. Webflow, you can do the same thing. So you don't have to go through one of these other third-party platforms. Always, like I say, always find a way to make sure your website is getting the traffic it deserves. Now, how to create the digital how to sell the digital products that you create. First off, where a lot of people make the error, they're like, "Oh, I see social media templates in Canva are making a lot of money, so I'm going to do that." Okay, why? Because they make a lot of money. Okay, why? Well, because they sell. Okay, but why are you making social media templates? Do you know what works on social media? Are you a social media analyst? Are you a social media manager? Or throw something at you. Maybe you work in an industry that no one caters to. Maybe you work in an industry that no one is making digital products for. Now, that could be because of, a lot of people might think this, well, because it's not profitable or just no one thought of it yet. I bring this up because this happens all the time. People go to what, I think is going to make me money, as opposed to, I see there's an opportunity to solve a problem. That's where the money is. The money's always, I see where the opportunity is to solve a problem. So is it creating signage for bookstores? Seen someone do this. It's crazy. Didn't know it would work and make perfect sense. I know. You're like, bookstores are dying. Yeah, but there's plenty of bookstores around. And unique templates for cafes, unique templates for restaurants, unique templates. Right? Maybe you do social media, but maybe it's social media for a specific industry, just not general. Well, there's a lot of beauty influencers. There's a lot of people who do, makeup. There's a lot of people. Yeah, but there's a lot of other industries that are on social media that people aren't catering to, that need the same assistance. In fact, I would say they probably need it more because no one's catering to them. So they're like, I'm just kind of out here doing whatever. When they find someone, you become that go-to expert. That's what makes it profitable. When people come back and people share and people, once again, like I said, those testing and making sure it actually works for these people, it actually solves some problems. So cater to the solutions that are needed, or I should say cater to the problems that need to be solved, and you can develop a solution for it. Ebook, templates, planners, the typical digital stuff. But then maybe we could take it to the next step, courses, right? Reports, white papers, gather statistics, gather the research. What's going to happen? What's the outlook? What's going to happen to the restaurant industry in my city? Right? What's going to go on with the nightlife industry in my city? One area, one business that still uses physical flyers all the time. They call them pluggers, flyers, inserts. I just brought up nightlife. Nightclubs, dance clubs, or discoteca, depending upon where you're from. Right? They still use these things and they use those templates. What's the industry? Because the industry solution, that could be the part that you're missing. And this is where I think a lot of people who fail in digital products miss. They're not focusing on the industry that needs the assistance. They're looking at, everyone's making Instagram templates. Well, yeah, you just said it. Everyone's making Instagram templates. What's going to make yours stand out? Maybe you make templates for the industry that no one's making them for. That would immediately stand out, right? And here's something, people always say go through the kind of a similar checklist, but they miss a few components. Here's one piece of that checklist, if you will, those 10 factors I gave you. You have to A/B test. Everything should be A/B tested, right? Everything should be A/B tested. So you go on one platform, see how it works, and simultaneously working on another. Yes, you're splitting your energy, but you're also testing. So I would suggest, hey, depending upon what you're selling, of course. If it's courses, Skillshare, Udemy, right? And in some cases, of course, you want to make sure you read, in all cases, you want to read your terms of service, but you want to make sure that you can sell the same product or similar products across different platforms, because of course it goes to licensing sometimes. But I would always suggest that when it comes to any type of advertising, sales, especially when you get into premium. I even did this, I'll be honest with y'all, I did this on my very first website too. My very first website. Okay, I only purchased a 30-day plan, and I paid a lot more, of course, for a 30-day hosting plan to work on one platform, and then I moved it to another platform. I wasn't looking at traffic. I was looking at customer service. I was looking at downtime. I was looking at speed. I was looking at all that stuff before I even started worrying about SEO, because I wanted to make sure I had the right partnership. Glad I did it at the time, because the company that I initially had it hosted on completely went out of business. Then the second company I went, the company I went to, wound up staying in business, but they went out of business, or they got bought out. At least their whole business got bought out. And I was like, I didn't like the service that it went over to. So I changed and went to a different hosting service. So you should do the same thing with your marketplace. Don't just say, okay, I'm only going to sell Etsy and call it a day. Bump that. You don't owe Etsy nothing. Seriously. Sell on Etsy and sell on another platform and see what works for you. And if Etsy ain't working out for you, kick rocks, move on. Because real talk, it's about you and your business, and most importantly, your customer. And identify what separates one from the other. As soon as you make enough money, though, buy your domain. If you haven't at least bought your domain, if you can buy your domain first, that's great. Affiliate offer in the description of this episode to purchase your domain at a really good price from one of the most trusted providers to get you started. Because maybe that's, you can at least get that out the way. But as soon as you make enough funds, build your landing page, please, because at the very least, if you build a landing page or one product page, something like that, and you connect your domain to it, now you own a place. So if the two marketplaces that you've chosen, maybe you stick with both of them. But what if they change up and they say you can't sell those products anymore for whatever reason? Or they change the pricing on you. I've seen this. I've been affected by this. A lot of people have been, where the pricing to list products even changes. Maybe, you find it challenging that I can't connect, and like I said, not every platform allows this. You can't connect your Google Analytics. You can't connect your, if you're going to run ads on Facebook, you can't connect your advertising pixel and know exactly, well, is it working or not? Like, I can only gauge by sales. I don't even know if people are clicking on the ad and leaving as soon as they go to my page. What if they don't even go to my page? They go to somebody else and shop. You can't test a lot of that stuff out on some of these third-party platforms. So you always want to have your own website. Okay, that is fundamental. So as soon as you give yourself a tight budget, say, hey, you know what, or give yourself a milestone and make a budget so you can reach that milestone. To say, when I reach $500 in sales, when I reach $200 in sales, whatever you can afford, I'm going to build my landing page. Like I said, take advantage of the great offer for a domain. It's in the description of this episode. So with that, where and how to sell digital products. Now we're going to close it out with what to read. And I've been doing this going back and forth where I give you a book normally, but in this case, there's a couple pieces. And I said at the end of the year, they always have these reports. They always have these experiences, but I really do want to give you these experiences. I want to give you great suggestions and some great people that I follow when it comes to creating digital products, when it comes to creating and talking about these digital product platforms and third-party marketplaces. There's a great reading list that I've put together for you guys on Medium. I love Medium. It's a fantastic place where you meet authors, but the authors are professionals in all types of fields, right? These aren't just people who are just, coming from an academic standpoint, in a theoretical standpoint. These are people who've applied everything from making digital products, digital marketers, web designers, engineers, linguists, philosophers. I mean, literally professors, everything, every industry you can think of is on Medium. And it's a fantastic, fantastic place to learn and to grow and to just constantly consume knowledge and share ideas, but also be entertained, because there's some great fiction on there as well, not just case study, not just, blog articles. So it's a great place to express yourself and to learn more. I gave you a reading list about digital products and all the tips and advice of digital products. So a couple of great articles in there. I gave you about 12 to check out. Very short read. Some of them are down to just 2 minutes in reading. Some are 1 minute in reading. Some of them are a little longer. But, you can learn from people's different experiences. And I mean, literally from everything, from people who've had great experiences to people who had bad experiences. And it really gives you an opportunity to learn more about digital products. Also, I brought up before about finding solutions or making solutions for people to report specifically about the job market going forward. Now, I bring that up because, like I said, what I've noticed over probably the last 3 years, that's where the digital products are winning the most, are people who are saying, hey, I have a new job and I need some help. Course, templates, some guidance, some training, webinars. Those are blowing up. If you know where the market is going, and specifically, like I said, in your industry, the areas you can help the most, what's going to change in your market? Are you going to see people who are pulled out of their being where they're currently a subject matter expert and now they're being thrown into a whole new role? Well, if they're in a whole new role, they're going to be looking for information and education. Boom. That's where you can come out and help them out. And then I have 3 of my favorite channels on YouTube to learn about digital products and to learn about making digital products and learn about, if you're not learning, you're not living. So when people tell you, oh, I don't follow somebody or I do it all for myself, you know what? Number one, you're probably full of you know what. And number 2, then I'm not going to trust you because that means you're not constantly learning. The world is changing all the time. So if someone tells me they don't read, certain authors and professionals in their industries or experts in their industry, or they don't, attend webinars, they don't watch either of the YouTube channels, or they don't go to, conferences and train, I don't want to deal with them. If you're listen, like look at it like this. If you're listening to a person who only talks and doesn't listen and doesn't consume and doesn't learn and grow, that means you're learning the most that person has got, which could have stopped 5, 10, 20 years ago. Work with people who are constantly evolving and constantly bringing themselves up. So I have no problem directing you guys to people that I watch, the people that I like, and people who entertain me, but also help me think outside the box and I say outside the box, outside my own brain. 3 great channels to check out. Links to those in the description. And that help you with digital products. Now, digital products is not easy. You're not going to be a billionaire overnight. It's going to take a couple days. You might make 100,000 right now, then you make $1 million tomorrow. No, I'm joking. It's going to take time. The key is, like I said from the top, knowing that audience, what are their problems, what solutions they need, and what they're looking for, and bringing them those solutions. With that, check out those links in the description. Grab that offer, that affiliate offer that'll help us out, support us, support the show for the domain. And don't forget to drop and let me know. Do you want us to make a digital product live? I got to figure out what it's going to be. But if I see, like I said, at least 10 comments, make digital product, boom, that's what we're going to do. All right. With that, y'all, appreciate listening to another episode of The Ambition Show. Me, your host, Aaron Muhammad, and I will see you around. Peace.